Hello, welcome. So, another live, and tonight we're talking about what we've got growing and what we've got sowing. So, put down in the comments what you're growing and sowing at the moment, and we'll start having a conversation about it tonight. And it's been a glorious day here today. Warm, sunny, very little wind, and complete contrast to yesterday, which was freezing cold, wet, windy. And it's really been a pleasure to be out there in the garden today. And it's just been a day of pottering about, really. Nothing major, nothing strenuous or laborious, just lots of little jobs that I needed to do. Sowing some seeds, planting some stuff out, and really enjoyable day. So I've checked the forecast for my area for the next week, and we're staying around sort of 10 degrees in the day and getting down as low as 4 degrees on the night time. So not too bad. With a bit of fleece and a bit of care, some stuff can go out. So in the week I managed to get the onions out. If you can see there's some little seedlings, so I've got those out in the week. There's about 150 Elsa Craig onion seedlings there. I've still got some more to put out, probably about another 150. Don't think I'll get them all in that bed, but I'll dot them around here and there. And I also got out 100 onion sets. There's 50 stir on and 50 red baron, and they went into those pallet collar raised beds with a bit of fleece over the top, just to protect them more from rodents, really, digging them up. Not so much the cold weather. But yeah, so that's what I got out in the week. And we do like onions, so getting those out of the cold frame, because they were in little seed trays and they really needed to move on. So I've got those out. And it's getting a lot lighter now on the night as well, getting stuff done in the veg plot after work. And tonight it was still light at 7 o'clock, just about light, and that's a sure sign that spring's here. So we've got celery and celeriac. That's finally made an appearance, and we've got celery there on this side and celeriac on that side. So they're finally coming through now. Just going to refresh the chat because I'm not getting any comments come through at the moment. There we go, that's better. So, oh, it's gone again. No, it's back again. There we go. Hi Robin, how are you? So the snow's almost gone now, that's good. Brilliant, warming up so you can get some more stuff done. Brilliant. Hi Ika, how you doing? Is it Ika, is that right? Is that how you pronounce it? Yvonne, hi. Shell's life is better in the garden. Hiya, how you doing? Ika saying, Jason, I've just been spreading 6 times on my veg and it stinks. Yeah. Do you know what? I was down the shed today having a brew between jobs, and it does smell. I quite like it, but I can understand some people not liking it. Yeah. And I call it 6 times because I was told it covers 6 times the area as farmyard manure, but Some people call it 6X, so I don't know if I'm saying it right. Hi Danny boy, I get out in the garden and just sat there all day. Only one we're going to get this week, I think. Yeah, it's been a lovely day, hasn't it? Really, really nice. And I just took my time. I just potted about from job to job. Nothing major at all. Robin potted up my onions, leeks, celery, celeriac leeks and peppers. Wow. Was that all today? Or was that something that you've spread over the week? A lot of stuff there. Clocks change next Sunday. Yeah. So, and then we can really crack on in the evenings, can't we? If it's not raining or freezing cold. Yeah. Shell's life is better in the garden. I'm just about to sow some red cabbage, wheelers and snowball cauliflower. Wheelers and snowball. Okay, I've not heard of that. Eric, okay. Right, Eric. T&D's grown at home. Evening all. Hi, thanks for joining us. Yvonne, you've been doing peas and carrots. Brilliant. Eric, smells 6 times stronger. Yeah, that's probably why they call it 6 times, yeah. Hi Stephen, how you doing? Onions, cabbage and collies out today. Wow, netted, I'm guessing, for the brassicas. You did all that yesterday, Robin. Fair play. Fair play. And Stephen's saying, already changed here a couple of weeks back. Yeah, Audrey at Real Food Comes Dirty, they've changed them, yeah. Yeah. Shell's life is better in the garden. Wheeler cabbage, it is like a cone shape if it doesn't bolt. Right, okay. Not heard of that one. So, on Friday I had a trip up to West Yorkshire, which for those that aren't necessarily from the UK, it's if you've heard of like Leeds and Bradford and what have you, it's that sort of area. And I was in a place called Holmfirth, which is very picturesque. You've got your old stone buildings and hills and valleys and rivers and all of that. Really nice. Unfortunately, I was there because I had to get my truck repaired. I had not a new gearbox, a replacement gearbox, because I lost third gear in mine. So driving over the mountains to get to this garage was quite difficult without a third gear, but we made it. But I digress. Anyway, the first thing I did when I got there was I dropped my truck off, and obviously the first thing I did was went and had a full English breakfast at the local cafe, and then I was left with about 5 hours or so to kill. So wandering around the town, and there was an Oxfam shop. So I thought, well, I'll pop in, see if there's any gardening books and that, going cheap. And they were selling seeds. And they had a little display of seeds. Not a lot to choose from, that was it. But 5 packs for £4. So I thought, well, why not? So I bought myself some beetroot, Bolt Hardy, because I haven't sown any beetroot yet this year. Some lettuce, sort of mixed red and green salad leaves. Some Savoy cabbage, because all the Savoy cabbage that I've sown so far this year haven't germinated at all. I'm actually beginning to think that I've labelled the pots up but actually forgot to sow the seeds. All year round cauliflower and some marigolds, all for £4. So I thought that was quite a good deal, and hopefully some of that money goes to a worthwhile charity as well. So if you're after some cheap seeds, then and you've got an Oxfam nearby, then it might be worth having a look. I don't know if they've all got them, all the Oxfam shops, but it might be worth going in and having a look. Steve Bramall, yeah, so you've got them all netted up. Shell's life is better in the garden. I'm Leeds. Leeds, West Yorkshire, okay, yeah. Haven't been myself. You've not been to Holmfirth? It's probably a little day trip. Have a day out there. It's really nice. There's some nice walks along the river, and there's some decent sized hills to go walking up if you fancy it. Steve Bramall, bargains. Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, so if you've got an Oxfam shop nearby, might be worth having a look. And it's supporting a charity of some sort, I'm sure. So, what else have I been up to? Oh, today I got my peas out. So that's my marrow fat peas. Put them in the raised bed I made in front of the shed, and yeah, they're looking pretty good. It felt really good actually to get those out, because they were getting a bit root bound in the pots, and they needed to move on. And it's going to be quite easy to fleece those up if I need to. I also put out Mange 2 peas that I've been growing, because they were getting really straggly. They were perhaps nearly a foot tall, so they needed to go out, and I'm growing those up some mesh at the side of the polytunnel, or the polytunnel frame. Hope to get that covered this year. Hi Alan, how you doing? Hope you're well. So, what about summer crops? Has anyone started thinking about summer crops yet? Because it's that time of year, isn't it, where we start thinking about sowing the more tender crops, keeping them indoors obviously, or a heated greenhouse or something. So I've got sort of cucumbers, aubergine, in fact, where are they? The aubergine have emerged. I think I planted 5. I've only got 3, but that's a start. And they're living in the propagator at night at the moment, and going on the windowsill in the day to get some light. Chilies are what they are. They're still not brilliant, I'm afraid. Tomatoes are starting to come on. So there's a crimson crush. I pricked these out a few days ago and put them all in these little pots, and they'll probably stay there for a couple of weeks and then get potted on again. And they're in this conservatory in the day because it's nice and light, and then if it gets really cold, because this isn't heated, this room, I move them into the living room on a night time, just to try and keep the temperature somewhere near. Stephen, I see a load of pea and ham soup in the future for you, Jason. My favourite. Yeah, I like that as well. But I'm growing those marrowfat peas. It's become a bit of a personal challenge for me now, because last year I put a video out saying this is how you grow mushy peas, and I failed twice to get them to germinate. So this year I chitted them, and that's the result. So they're for mushy peas though, Stephen. So I think we'll be having some fish, chips, mushy peas, etc. It's all the podding, all the shelling though, isn't it? That's why we grow Mange 2 normally, but there's a massive difference as well when you look at a Mange 2 pea and one of those marrowfat peas. Even the shade of green and the way it grows and everything, the leaves are different, they're completely different. T&D's grown at home. I've just down I've just down Monge 2 and Sugar Snap. Yeah. Sown, I think, is that right? I've just sown Monge 2 and Sugar Snap. Yeah, we love Monge 2. The problem is, not that many of them actually make it to the house because we'll be down there pottering about and we'll be eating them as we're working. So yeah, not that many make it to the house. Stephen, looks like my peas are just poking their little heads through, I noticed earlier on. Okay, are they the ones that you've sown direct, Stephen, into the ground? Yeah, I thought you meant sown. Yvonne, Tom, aubergine and peppers all on the windowsills. Only just planted cucumbers because of the room. Yeah, I was going to plant courgettes today and I haven't got any seed. I could swear I had some Black Beauty courgette seeds and I haven't. I've looked through my box and I just haven't. So it's going to be another trip to the garden centre. And as for my cucumbers, I sowed 12 and I don't think any have come up yet. Just looking at the trays now, I can't reach to show you, but yeah, I don't think any have made a show yet, and I'm wondering if they just need a little bit more warmth to germinate. Eric, this year I'm going to do the normal size marigolds. Last year I put African marigolds in my hanging baskets. Okay, the marigolds I sowed some today and they were like the French marigolds, you know, that sort of size. Last year I did those, but I also grew Tall Boy, and they are tall for a marigold. They're about 2.5 foot tall, so you've got to be careful where you plant them. But this year I'm just going to do normal sort of size, and I do it to attract bees and insects and stuff down to the veg plot, but it also just makes the place look pretty, doesn't it? You know, a bit of colour, what have you, amongst all the green. Danny boy, love mushy peas from the local chip shop. Absolutely. Yeah, you can't beat it, can you? You can't beat it. And to make your own at home, it's going to be great. So hopefully. Stephen, tomatoes pricked out for me this morning. Way more than I need, but we'll give a load away to neighbours. Yeah, I mean, I think I've got about 30 tomato plants growing at the moment, and I don't know where I'm going to put them all, but I could put quite a few in pots, I think, up on the patio outside this window because it's south facing. But obviously we need to get to May, June, so that we've got that constant sort of temperature to keep them outside. And until we get the polytunnel covered, they're all going to be outside. So because I reserve the little space that we have in the greenhouse for cucumbers, because they seem to grow really well in there. T&D's grown at home. Last year's didn't make it to the house. Yeah, it's always the way you grow this stuff. It's like strawberries, isn't it? If you grow strawberries, they just don't get to the house. You know, they just get eaten on the plot. Stephen. Yeah, I thought so. Robin, I use a temporary zipper greenhouse and over the earth zipper greenhouses. They will go up soon. I may do more jugs inside the little greenhouses for extra warmth. Inside is getting cluttery. Yeah, it's a problem, isn't it? At this time of the year we run out of space indoors, and I'm so pleased that I built that cold frame. That has come in really useful, and now the peas have been put out, they're not in there anymore. I can get some other stuff down in that cold frame, some of the stuff that's in the greenhouse, because in there I've got lettuce, pak choy, chard, and a few other bits and bobs. So I can free up some space in the greenhouse by moving that stuff to the cold frame, and then some of this stuff maybe could go down to the greenhouse, and it's just that constant cycle trying to make space to sow the next crop. And especially with things like courgettes and cucumbers, they grow so quick and take over. Last year when this wasn't being used, this room wasn't being used as a kitchen, in another 4 weeks it was like a jungle in here. There was all sorts of stuff in there, tomatoes and cucumbers, everything. And I'm struggling a bit without it this year. Stephen, I'm expecting self-seeding marigolds. Yeah, and last year I didn't deadhead them towards the end of the season, so I'm going to have them everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And same with tomatoes. Some of the tomatoes fell from the plants, and they just, it's amazing, isn't it, with tomatoes? We talk about growing them, starting them off indoors, warmish conditions, lots of light and all of this stuff, yet they'll volunteer in the garden without any problems, and they'll come up everywhere that you don't want them to. Eric, the ones I did last year were 4 foot. The marigolds, that's a tall marigold, isn't it? That really is a tall marigold. Daddy boy, every seed this year except for carrots and parsnips I've chittered because they were old seed. Good idea. Yeah, if it's old seed, a really good idea. I've only done it this year with the marifat peas. I've not done it with anything else. But like the parsnips, I've oversown, so I've put 3 where I want 1, and things like that. So my broad beans, I think that I sowed direct, nothing's happening, and I think something's been digging there, probably a mouse or a rat, and I think they've probably dug them up and eaten them. So I did actually sow some in pots today to try and catch up and have a broad bean harvest. Robin, that cold frame you built is the bomb. I need a bigger one for sure. Do you know, it really has made a difference, Robin. Really good. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do with it when I eventually get the polytunnel covered is I'm going to put it on some legs and put it in the polytunnel in the winter as an extra layer of warmth. And I can make, what I was thinking I could do is, these reptile tank heaters that you can get, I can't remember what they're called now. An aquarium's for fish, isn't it? Is it a vivarium? I can't remember, but anyway, one of those heaters that you have for reptiles and spiders and all that sort of stuff, and put it inside the cold frame in the winter months in the polytunnel, thinking I might be able to grow some stuff longer and later, earlier in the year. Stephen, not even started courgettes or cucumbers yet. I've tried, but nothing's happening. Nothing's happening at the moment. I got a feeling I might need to put the cucumbers, say, in the living room where it's warmer until they germinate, and then bring them back out here. I might have to do that, I think, tomorrow. Just put them in there on some newspaper. Stephen, same here. Danny boy, Vivmats. Yeah, Vivmats. Is that for a vivarium? Is that what we're talking about? It's like a mat that heats, is it? Like a grow mat, I suppose. Okay. Okay, you used to keep reptiles, and that's what I use is a vivarium. Oh, okay. So I could put those in the bottom of the polytunnel, the cold frame in the polytunnel, and use those then. Okay. And I'm guessing you can regulate the temperature on them as well, you know, turn it up or down. Okay, I'll have a look into that at some point. So something else I noticed today was about 2 weeks ago, the rhubarb was barely poking through the surface, and today it must be a foot tall, coming on really strong, really healthy. And yeah, I think we're going to have some good rhubarb this year. I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment actually. I've got a bed by the fence and I've got a rhubarb at both ends of it. And so I've put about 1/3 of a bag of mixed farmyard manure around the one, and I think I'm going to put some 6 times around the other one and just see what happens. I'll try and work out the area of the farmyard manure that I've put down, and I'll do the same for the 6 times according to the ratio on the bag and what have you, and just see what comes off the best. T&D's grown at home. I've sown courgettes, but hanging on a while before I sow cucumbers. Okay. I think, you know, with those sort of crops, we've got plenty of time at the moment. Same with tomatoes. If you're not sowing your tomatoes yet, it's not the end of the world, is it? Danny boy, yes, you can get a thermostat to regulate the temperature. Do you know what? I bet they're cheaper as well than grow mats that we buy, aren't they? For veg. And I bet it's exactly the same thing. I bet there's a company out there making a mat that heats up and then labelling it for different markets. Robin, I use old-fashioned Christmas lights in the zipper greenhouse. Gives enough heat to prevent freezing. That might be cheaper than a heater. Really? Christmas lights? I suppose the old-fashioned ones that were a bulb, not an LED. Yeah, they did used to get hot, didn't they? That's a really clever idea, that, Robin. I really like that. Yeah, because everyone's Christmas trees used to catch fire, didn't they? Stuff like that. Brilliant idea. Stephen, I've stopped composting tomatoes now, especially when they come up into seed trays when using my own compost. Yeah, they do seem to survive, don't they? I've got a lot of weeds coming up in my homemade compost, even though it normally gets up to about 60 degrees in the piles, and then I turn it and then it reheats, and it normally gets up to, say, about 40 the second time. But I think what happens is it then sits there for months, and so if you've got weeds around, you know, in your garden or surrounding area, they blow onto the compost, and then, you know, you've got them anyway then, haven't you? Danny boy, they're way cheaper. Do you know what? I thought they would be, and I bet they're the same thing. I bet they're exactly the same thing inside. Eric, one of my 12 artichokes has popped up. Right, okay. When did you plant those, Eric? Because I put mine in, don't know, probably 4 weeks ago now. And I'd look today, there's nothing coming through yet. Nothing yet. But our last frost date isn't till around, I think it's about the 20th of April. So I don't want them to come up yet. T&D's growing at home. Sounds like a good idea. Robin Garden. Yeah, it was a brilliant idea. So I'm going to have Christmas lights around my cold frame in the polytunnel. That's going to be quite cool, isn't it? So I've just got to find some now. Who's got some old-fashioned Christmas tree lights that I know that doesn't want them anymore? I bet, can you even buy them anymore? Because they've all gone LED now, haven't they? Yeah, we haven't got any. I think we've thrown all our old lights out. T&D's grown at home. Mine haven't shown yet. Eric, hoping they will. It's their second year, if so. Yeah, I've put mine in pots because I've heard that they're really invasive and you just won't get rid of them otherwise. So I think I had they're about 60 litre pots, 2 of them, and I've put 5 tubers in, 3 in one, 2 in the other, about 6 inches down. And we'll see. It's the first time I've ever grown them, so we'll see what happens. But I'm actually looking forward to the tall stems with the yellow flowers and whatever, because I think that aren't they actually part of the sunflower family, the Jerusalem artichokes, and so I've put them down near the fence as a sort of screen, really. 4 weeks ago, yeah, about the same as me, that Eric, yeah. Because I think they say you should put them in about 6 weeks before your last frost date. So I was probably a bit early with mine, to be honest. But we'll see. T&D's grown at home. B&M's may still have some stock in on sale. Christmas lights, the old-fashioned ones with the bulb. I know someone that works at B&M actually, or is it Home Bargains? It's one of them, but they're sort of the same shop, aren't they? So yeah, I might have to tap them up and see if they've got any old-fashioned Christmas tree lights. You've started a trend now, Robin. I think everyone's going to be putting Christmas tree lights in their cold frames and whatever. T&D's grown at home. I planted mine in the ground, only 2. Aphids love them. Is that Jerusalem artichokes? Yeah. Yeah, you may be digging them out of the ground forever. But obviously you can get rid of them if you just got to do a lot of digging. But I think if you just leave them year after year after year, they'll take over. They just spread. Eric, T&D's went home. They are very hardy plants. People say if a nuke went off, they will keep growing. Yeah, they'll grow in pretty much any soil, won't they? I think any soil, all kinds of climates. They're pretty bomb-proof, I think. And I've put them in pots for that very reason. I don't want them taking over the entire corner of that garden, because there's a pear tree down there. Is it a pear? No, it's not, it's a plum. And there's the rhubarb down there as well. So what I'm trying to do is kind of fill that corner because it's quite damp, and I want stuff down there that's going to take a lot of the moisture out of the soil, and it's also in partial shade, so I wanted something that was quite tall to get up over the fence to get the sunlight, rather than, I tried to grow kale down there last year and it was just a complete waste of time. I put them in when they were that big, and they were only that big when I dug them out. It was just a complete waste of time. Too much shade and too wet. T&D's gone home. Eric, that's good to hear. Steve Brummel, 100% correct. I'm struggling to dig all mine up. Yeah, I've heard this, that they just take over. Have your potatoes arrived yet, Stephen? Have you got them yet? T&D's gone at home. No globe artichokes. Oh, no globe artichokes. Sorry, I thought you were guys talking about the globe. Right, okay. No, I think we're talking about, well, I'm talking about Jerusalem artichokes. Um, yeah, yeah, very invasive. Very invasive, grow in just about any conditions. And yeah, you don't want them taking over. Eric says all his are in massive pots. Yeah. I think if you had, say, a raised bed that, you know, was wood or brick or something like that, that you could contain them in there. But yeah, just putting them in a bed, unless you're going to put some corrugated steel in or something to try and enclose them. T&D's grown at home. Yeah, if I do Jerusalems, I'll make sure I do them in pots. I tell you what, I thought the tubers were quite expensive as well. I think I paid 15 quid for 5, which just seems like a lot of money to me for what they are. I'm sure if you ask around other allotmenteers or veg growers, you may get some for free because they're probably trying to get rid of them. You might have to go and dig them up, but you probably get some for free. Hi Chillin, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. So what else have I got down my notes here? Let me have a quick look. So has anybody put lettuce and stuff like that out in the ground yet, or is everyone still holding back on that sort of thing? Or have you put it out and it's under some fleece? Because it's a cool weather plant, isn't it? You know, it doesn't like really cold temperatures, obviously, but it's a cool weather plant. So I'm wondering if people have started to put theirs out yet. I haven't. They're still quite small, I've got to be honest. Started late this year with it, and if I put them out now, I suspect they'll just disappear overnight because of the slugs. That said, I did actually witness yesterday a garden beetle carrying a grey field slug off. He'd obviously caught it and he was just carrying it off to eat it somewhere. So that was quite nice to see. Eric, £6 for 12. I was ripped off, wasn't I? Yeah, they saw me coming. Wow. Mind you, I'll never have to buy any again, will I? I'm going to have more than enough. Chilling, I've put lettuce out on fence. On the fence, is that in pots, like hanging pots on the fence? Good idea that, because then they're a bit harder to get to, aren't they, for the slugs and what have you. Yeah, not a bad idea. And of course, vertical growing, if you can put pots up a wall or on the fence or anything like that, you're massively increasing your growing area. It's just, I find with pots, I've got some on the shed, I just find them difficult to keep hydrated in the summer because it's south facing and they just get cooked. Steve Colwell, hi Steve. I've nothing in the plot yet, end of May where I live. Okay, whereabouts are you, Steve? You must be quite a long way up north then, I'm guessing. Ellen and Mary, hi, thank you for joining us. Lettuce in the polytunnel. Yeah, I've seen a lot of YouTubers with really nice lettuce, like quite big, growing in their polytunnels, and mine are in pots and still really small. I've got to get that polytunnel covered. I think it's going to happen in the autumn. I've actually sort of planned my planting in down there around getting the cover on the polytunnel. So down the one side of it, on the outside of the tunnel I'm talking about, is all onions. So they should be out the ground come sort of September. And then on the other side is going to be peas, broad beans, more onions, leeks. So hopefully the plan is to clear those 2 beds sometime end of the summer, beginning of the autumn, and then I can put the battens round and get the cover on, and then hopefully by then I'll have some stuff coming on as winter crops that will then go into those beds. Shell's life is better in my garden. I've sown spinach and some mixed leaf, and there's quite a lot of winter density in the garden, but I'm not keen on that, so the slugs can have it, as wonderful as it looks. Okay, so you still got quite a lot of winter stuff in the plot. I wouldn't let the slugs have it. Oh no, I wouldn't do that. I'd try to remove everything. I try to take away the habitat as much as I can, because they just take over. Yvonne, lettuce in pots, slugs love them. I reckon they can smell a lettuce miles away, can't they? Eric, you got lettuce in the greenhouse and rocket spinach. Lovely. Wow. Chilling. I'm trying milk tubs up on the twine so slugs won't reach. That's a good idea. Hanging milk tubs. Just cut the top, like turn them into a pot basically, yeah? Just cut a piece out. Shell's life is better in the garden. I'm definitely growing a lot vertical this year, especially pumpkins. Steve Colwell, County Durham. Yeah, so quite a lot further north than me. I'm Shropshire. Robin, I have some marvel of 4 seasons lettuce in winter sowing jugs. It typically makes it okay. In the raised beds I have spinach, arugula rocket and mustard undercover. Wow. Considering your climate there, Robin, you really do get a lot done, don't you? Fair play. T&D's growing at home. I've only just sown lettuce. Last lot didn't germinate, but waiting to sow the others in the beds that need sowing outdoors. Yeah, I sowed 1 lot of lettuce, did really well. Sowed another lot, dropped the tray. That was a write-off. So I've now sown them again, and I'm waiting for them to come up. Chilling, you should just get a roll of polycarbonate and sheet the tunnel. It's the cost of it though, isn't it? The cost, polycarbonate. Sort of make a polycrop. Yeah. Thing is, I've worked out that the cover's going to cost about 150 quid, but I need to reinforce a tunnel, the frame, because it's a cheap Amazon blow away frame. So I bought the frame without the cover, and then I've put concreted steel tubes into the ground to fit the frame into, and then put proper door frames on it and wooden base rail all the way around. So what I want to do now is make some crop bars to go inside and some other reinforcing bits, the diagonals in the corners and what have you. Weld those in, and then it's ready for covering really. Shell's life is better in the garden. I love mustard leaves. It did so well growing all winter in the garden under fleece. Whenever I grow mustard, it bolts. Always bolts, and I think I just need to grow it in the cooler part of the year. I think that's the problem. I'm trying to grow it from like now onwards, and I should really be trying to grow it like in the late part of the year, earlier on. Yvonne, chilling sounds brilliant idea. We'll try that, thanks. Okay, I think I might have missed that somewhere. T&D's gone at home, sown again. Predictive text is nuts. It's a nightmare, isn't it? Absolute nightmare. Shell's life is better in the garden. To be honest, my son will eat it before the slugs. My lad's 15 and cucumbers, he just eats them like an apple. Like most people would eat an apple, he will eat a cucumber, and he'll eat 2 a day. You know, he will eat them as fast as I can grow them. So that's why I'm growing 12 cucumbers, so that me and Julie have a look in as well. And yeah, he comes over from school. Got any cucumbers, Dad? He loves them. Sheila's life is better in the garden. Getting some right tips here. I need to make a list. That's what it's about. That's what the live's about. It's about everybody contributing their knowledge, their advice, their tips, and I learn some every single week we do this. I learn stuff, and it's great. You know, that's what it's about. Chilling Yvonne. A soldering iron is the best for making the holes. Okay. Making holes in what? I think I've missed something. If I don't read every comment, I apologise. It's just quite hard to keep up with it when you're talking and things as well. Eric, Jason, what chilies are you growing? So chilies, not been a good year for me with chilies. Basically, I'm growing Tabasco, which, let me pick one, show you. So there's one. This is my second sowing of chilies this year. The first lot just didn't germinate. I think that was down to temperature again. And that's, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but this one's just starting to grow a true leaf. So I'm growing Tabasco, and there's sweet California sweet peppers as well, but only one of those germinated out of a whole packet. So a really poor year on the chili front. That said, we have got a half a drawer in the freezer from last year, so we should be okay. Yvonne, chilling, thanks, we'll give it more growing space as well. Okay. Hi Leanne, how you doing? Shell's life is better in the garden. Yes, definite through the winter as a green compost, but you'll get a few harvests from it in Jan, Feb and March. Yeah, I need to grow it earlier and later in the year, don't I? Definitely. Eric, don't put your chilies out yet, it's way too cold. No, they won't go out until it's constantly over 10 degrees for me anyway. And they're way too small as well at the moment, they've got to grow on. So they're living in the propagator at night and they're on the windowsill in here in the day. Today, this room was red hot. We had to have the door open because it was so hot in here with the sun. And we don't need it to be really hot outside for this room to get really quite warm because it's south facing. It's a perfect room for bringing stuff on. It's just that we're using it as a temporary kitchen at the moment. But hopefully in the next couple of months the proper kitchen will be done, and then this will become my sort of office come grow room, etc. So happy days. And then I can have a proper setup for the lives. If you could see this setup, I've got a piece of OBS board across the windowsill to the worktop, propped up on some insulated plasterboard at this end to try and get it somewhere near level. Yeah, extension leads and stuff everywhere. I mean, it's just, yeah, make do, that's what it is. Chilling. I bought 2 4-metre tunnels from Amazon, I think that is. They're really cheap deals. I'm going to make the 2 into 1, then have a spare cover. Yeah, I think if you can rattle a few spanners, maybe do a bit of welding, just a bit of DIY, you can actually take these cheaper blow-away tunnels and turn them into something quite substantial. But it's just getting time to do it while you're growing in the ground around them as well. That's the difficult bit. And when it comes to putting your cover on, you need it to be, in a perfect world, you want it to be sort of 14, 15 degrees so that the polythene's like pliable enough, you know, when you pull it tight you can stretch it, and then when it cools down it goes a bit tighter. If you do it when the weather's really cold, when it warms up the polythene will go loose, so you need to put the cover on a warm day so that you can pull it really tight, and then as it cools down it like shrinks a bit and goes even tighter on the frame. Ellen and Mary, I grow Socrates cucumbers indoors to get an early harvest. Okay, not grown that variety before. T&D's grown at home. I've sown Tabasco too, along with, I can never pronounce that word, canine, jalapenos and hot chili shake. Not tried that one yet. I can see some curries coming there. Robin, Ellen and Mary, I bought Socrates for an early harvest, a very dear price here. Okay, back to that seed availability garden centre thing in the States. Not as readily available, etc., as we have it over here. Steve, I've always grown cucumber Merlin. Nice size and a good cropper. See, we grew, what did we grow last year now? I've sown them again. This Telegraph. Telegraph. They were a really good cucumber. Really good. They grew outside, but okay. But they grew better, obviously, in the greenhouse. Obviously, to grow them outside, we need to have a decent summer. Eric, I got Vampire, Demon, Sugar Rush, Stripey, Golden Nugget. There's your Charapita, and that word I can never pronounce. Okay. There's some peppers there, or chilies there. Wow. Steve, I've always grown cucumber Merlin, nice size and good crop. Okay, yeah. Socrates. Leanne, the Socrates cucumber seeds I bought in California, I think that is. Is that California or Canada? I don't know. Were also a bit expensive, so I didn't even try an early harvest. We'll wait till it's warmer outside. Shell's life is better in the garden. I've 3 mini munch cucumbers on the windowsill and 1 Beth Alpha F1 doing well. Why have you guys got all these cucumbers growing and I can't even get them to germinate? What's going on? I need to do something about that. I need to get them in the living room where it's warmer. T&D's grown at home. You like hot, Eric? Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, looking at that list that he's growing. Chilling. The company is called A or something. Okay, for gardening supplies. Well worth a look. Okay, I'll have a look at that. Cheers. Danny boy, the bell peppers I've grown this year are from Asda seeds off the pepper. Do you know what, Danny? Last year I had loads of sweet peppers, bell peppers, and they were from a pepper that I bought at the supermarket in 2021, and saved the seeds. And that was, last year was the best ever sweet pepper harvest I've ever had from those seeds out of a supermarket pepper. And this year, out of a whole packet, I've had 1 germinate of seeds that I've bought. So I wish I'd saved some of those seeds from last year now. Shell's life is better in the garden. I love Sugar Rush, but I forgot to buy the seed. I'll probably pick one up off a friend, I hope. Yeah, that is always the fallback, and we can go to a garden centre and buy plants if we need to. Last year my celery and celeriac was a complete disaster, so I ended up buying some just as tiny little seedlings. Well, the celery I did, the celeriac came through, but I bought 6 little celery plants, planted them out, and we had amazing celery. So I'm not adverse to doing that if I have to, but obviously I'd much prefer to grow from seed. T&D's grown at home. I did that too late this year, too late, and this year at Danny Boy. And the lunchbox type, they grow fine. Okay. Eric, T&D's went home. Yep, I like to test them out on my workmates. Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, take in a load of chilies. Try this, lads. Give it a rating. Brilliant. T&D's grown at home. I gave them the Demon last year. You should have seen how fast they got the milk out of the fridge. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, brilliant. Steve Bramall, jalapenos and popolanos for me, which I dry to make chili powder. Yeah, we put all ours in the freezer. We had loads last year, and we should have really dried some, I think, because they're taking up a lot of room in the freezer, and we do put them in various dishes that we do, but yeah, it's taken a while to get through them. And we've finished eating the last year's potatoes. We've got no more spuds left now from last year, so I didn't quite grow enough. We're going to be sort of 2.5 months short, 3 months short. So I am growing more this year, and onions, growing probably twice as many onions this year. And I'll be growing 50% more carrots and 50% more parsnips this year as well. Stephen, not a huge fan of really hot peppers. Saying that, I got a free packet of datil chilies from Baker Creek. I take it they're really hot then. Not heard of them, but yeah, I'm guessing they're really hot. Eric, Jason, they did say they could eat a reaper. Okay, what you need to have some money on this, Eric. Yeah, it's no good just challenging them. You gotta have some money on it, and hide the milk. That's what you need to do. Yeah, make sure you run out of milk, and then do it. Guys, we're approaching the hour, so if you guys have got a YouTube channel, put it in the comments now so that other people can go and check you out. That's an idea that I've pinched off Danny at the Grow Up channel. I think it's a brilliant idea, and get people's YouTube channels out there and picked up. Stephen, no parsnip germination for me, so new ones on the way. Okay. Did you chip them? Or was it just put them in compost or in the ground? I haven't chitted any parsnips this year. I've not even started any indoors in the little cardboard pots. I've just put everything straight in the ground, and I only did that a couple of weeks ago, I think. So they probably won't appear for another 2 or 3 weeks yet. Steve Colwell, I'll sow fresh parsnip every year, and sow mid-April. Okay. I use my old seeds, but if I've got a packet of seeds that say a year old, I'll probably put 4 or 5 where I want one. The older they are, as we all know, the less reliable they are. Well, all seeds are like that, aren't they? But parsnips, I mean, parsnips aren't good if you've got a brand new packet of seeds, so, you know, they're still not a brilliant germinator. Chilling. Only mods can post links. Okay. Don't have a moderator at the moment, so that's why I keep my eye on the chat, because just in case. Steve Bramall, where did that hour go? I know. Mad, isn't it? I sit here and at the beginning, start talking, I got my notes, we soon get through them, and then you guys start chatting and it goes from there, and it's fantastic. The interaction's fantastic, so thank you very much. Steve Bramall, tried both ways, Jason. Nout. All I can suggest there, Steve, is some new seed. That's all I can suggest. Robin's Garden. Ali sent me Aji Mango and marked it 25k Scoville. Well, it's the best growing chili I have going, but they are 100 to 150,000 Scoville. Wow. Wow. I don't know what these Tabasco are on the Scoville scale, but on the seed it had a chili meter or whatever it was, and I think they were 7 out of 10, something like that. So they're going to be fairly hot. TD. Haha, hilarious, Eric. We've done the ghost chili challenge. Eric, can you get a video of you doing this with your mates at work and email it to me, and we'll include it in a live if we can get people's permissions and stuff like that, just for a laugh. That'd be quite funny. Hide the milk first though. Robin Gardens on YouTube. Yeah, Robin's channel, people, please go check it out. Really good channel. Go have a look, subscribe, like, all of that stuff. Eric, parsnip seeds only last 1 year. Yeah. Steve Bramall, on the way as I type, Jason. Your spuds, I think that relates to, yeah. Shell's life is better in the garden. First chat I've joined, it's been great. I'm not posting on YouTube at the moment, but I am on Instagram. Okay, fine. Put your name of your Instagram thing down there as well. T&D's grown at home. We'll check you out at Robin's Garden. Yeah, please do. Leanne, I have some different packets of greens in my pocket, so that's part of my afternoon. And yes, Canada. Okay. Get those sown then, Leanne. Nice afternoon, sowing some seeds. Eric, T&D's growing at home. My demon cross-pollinated with my reapers. Wow. So what's that going to produce? Be interesting finding out. T&D's growing at home. Eric, no evil. Eric, I'll do one this year. It was very funny. Yeah, do, please. Stephen, parsnips, Shell's life. Oh, okay, your parsnips are coming. Okay. Shell's life is better in the garden. No idea if that link will work. Robin Gardens, Tabasco is 30 to 50,000 Scoville. Okay, and you were saying 150? Wow. Yeah, I don't think I'd try one of those. Not even with a glass of milk. T&D's grown at home. Mine too. Shell's life is better in the garden. It's been enjoyable. Thank you. Thank you. Chilling. I think links won't show up if everyone tries to leave one. YouTube will remove most links in the comments section too. Okay, I don't know what links exactly you're trying to share, but you can email them to me if you want at leetonveg@gmail.com, and then I will try and add them to the description of this live, and then people can go back, have a look, click the link, what have you. Try and do it that way, as long as they're not links to something that we shouldn't be linking to, obviously. Guys, it's been fantastic. Thank you very much for joining in, and I'll see what I can come up with next week for a live. If you've got any suggestions for a live, a subject, again, email me, or maybe put them in the comments of this live once we've closed down. You can just add comments to it. So thank you very much, and